a fan favorite in SungKang is making his directorial debut. And with that, it was a no-brainer that I wanted to check it out. Folks, let's jump into the review of that film right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film Shaky Shivers, which made its West Coast premiere this year at Screamfest 2022. So, yes, SungKang, who may not know his name, but you certainly know his characters and especially his work in the Fast franchise as Han. And yes, he is now making his directorial debut. And the story behind this is really heartfelt and important before you even get into the film. And the fact that he wanted to give back into the independent community because that was his way, how he kind of broke into the industry. So this was a love letter back into the folks who essentially helped him get to where he's at now. And he's looking to open the same doors for others behind him. So giving back, which is just really dope. And which is the reason why I love independent films, because you see these passion projects, you see these new up and coming stars and talent, and being able to see really people put their heart and their soul into things, you know, completely dump out their bank accounts to make some of these projects work for our entertainment is always special to me. So, you know, shout out to Song coming back to the independents to make his directorial debut. Now, in this film, Shaky Shivers, there's a lot I want to talk about here. First thing is, this film is completely silly. It's completely silly. And I think a lot of films, especially recently this year, are starting to tap back into that 80s nostalgia horror aesthetic. And this one does the same. And with that, you got that. And then you got this comedic side to it as well too, and then overall, you know, it just kind of bounces over the place a little bit because you do have that identity with the film, but then at other times it do kind of feel modern and refreshed. So like it's a good balance of the 80s nostalgia, but also keeping itself very modern. And I think what's important about that is obviously you're paying back homage to that classic era, but also you're keeping it refreshed for this younger generation, because this film does kind of feel like it could exist on the ABC Family Channel or Freeform or Disney Channel vibes to an extent, because it never gets too heavy on the horror. It do got some gore and whatnot, but it definitely feels like it could be appealing to a television film, which, not to say that it could not be a big screen, but it's to say that like that audience, it wants to sort of be family friendly, that never wanted to be too dark or too heavy or anything like that. It felt like it wanted to appease to this younger generation, and obviously with the cast, you know, giving the younger generation a chance to be able to have opportunities. So you have the two main characters, Lucy and Karen, played by VyVy Nguyen and Brooke Markham. The two of them, they nailed the best friend banter and chemistry. And with that, the two of them, they end up in an abandoned camp in the woods inside of a campground, and then inside of a building, and they wake up and they're just like, okay, where are we? But somehow, some way, they're inside of a camp in the woods with a book of magical spells. And let me just say that this book of magical spells is basically the YouTube of magical spells. And which is the comedic side to this, because I really liked it, is that like there's literally a spell for everything. And it literally is tested. They think of the most random things and it just work. And the reason why they even got in this position in the first place is because, well, Karen thought Lucy may be a werewolf, so she tries to do what she can to like make sure with the full moon that her friend is either going to be one or not, and she's going to have to try to figure out what she can do to help her friend. And while she's doing this very dangerous sort of rescue mission, a friend of theirs, Eric, is accidentally killed, and when they kill him, they bring him back to life. And when they do that, they also end up bringing back a bunch of other random things. So a bunch of little random things are happening, obviously by cause and effect of the spell book and them not knowing exactly how to control what they're doing, it's just opening up the doors for all sorts of different things. So, you know, there's a lot of different things kind of going on in this, and with Lucy being a werewolf and them needing to reverse the curse, they gotta try to figure out the perfect spell for everything. So yeah, they got that kind of going on here. They got this creepy woodland creature kind of going on, and like they just tackle it to be like a family friendly comedic creature feature, which for me, it's not my favorite sort of genre or subgenre within horror, but like I know this is overly popular, and it definitely services all ages, which is the important thing. So I really did love our work from my young nucleus. I mean, they were entertaining. I could not help but to help how silly they were at times, and just really making the film pace really well. I was enjoying the banter between the two of them, and some other characters that kind of get in there that kind of shakes things up a little bit. But yeah, the film wasn't bad. It wasn't my cup of tea, but it wasn't bad. And then, as I should mention, there is obviously, because why wouldn't he? There's going to be a cameo worth waiting for at the end of the film, because, I mean, come on now. And the thing about this, when I started to watch the film, I did not think there was a role for Sung in this. So I was like, well, yeah, there's definitely like, and then, you know, time is gone. I was like, oh, there's no reason to introduce a new character. So the way how they do his cameo is completely hilarious, and it completely works. So I just really appreciate sort of his selfishness. He took his star power out, kept it as just a cameo, and let it focus on the rest of the cast members, which I thought was a really good job. And I should mention Eric, played by Jimmy Bellinger. I thought that like even his presence is completely silly, and for whatever bit of moment that you think this film tries to get serious, it doesn't. It never takes itself serious, and it really stays on its comedic tone, and just these kids getting out here having all this power in one book and not knowing how to control it, and it's one thing for the next to the next to the next. So overall, this film, you know, again, wasn't totally for me, but I think it's entertaining. I think that this younger generation will like this, which again, why I said like this definitely fits something that could have been on Freeform, ABC Family, or the Disney Channel, something of that sort, where like, you know, it does have a horror tone to it, but it never gets too deep. There's a little bit of gore there, here and there, but like it definitely is about the jokes, the comedy, and just that family oriented vibe where like it services for everybody of all ages. So there's that. But yeah, check out Shaky Shivers. Again, it made its West Coast premiere this year at Screenfest. Jump in the comments, folks. Let me know your thoughts about this when you check it out. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.